Suppression Pulse. I think it would have been much better for the situation. Let's throw this game out of our minds, because this is... I came into this series, right, and I said BlossoM is the better team. That first game makes me change, makes me want to change my opinion. We'll see how the series goes. But we're going to Sky Temple for game number 2.
Sky Temple. Yes. Seems like Ballistix might have an easy series, but of course BlossoM had the easy 2-game first at Eastern. We can never count them off. Of course, first game, let's just toss that aside. Our Tannis did not really work. As even the Haymaker, I think, after having a second thought, well, if Li Ming's getting another reset because you die without the avatar. There are just lots of mispicked even talents and heroics in that game. Well, we're going to second game. Let's just refresh that. I think BlossoM in this one, they were really showing a lot of the macro play even. And they are pretty good at teamfight. I think number 1 just crumbled away from them. They can just reset everything and go on from now.
Well, Gray Main, or not Gray Main, sorry, White Main will be
a little wider.
Banned first here. So they don't want to deal with that again. Is there a Black Main out there as well?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's just Gray and White Main.
Just Sally.
Are they related?
I don't think so. Oh,
okay. So basically, whoever wrote the lore for Warcraft, just ran out of ideas, and they're like, well, we got a Gray Main, we got a White Main. Maybe they were like, maybe later we can have Red Main. Don't tell me there's actually a Red Main, G-Clef. There's no Red Main, right?
But there's the White Widow and the Black Widow.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, Grey Widow.
Well, this draft is looking pretty similar with the adaptation of the White Main ban here for BlossoM. They won't be able to run their Thrall. Maiev comes through. Sergeant Hammer is open, but this is one of Sergeant Hammer's weaker maps. They want Deckard. They want Deckard no matter what. This means that SC has the pick of the litter, though, for his hero pool, with minus the Genji. He can play Hanzo here, if that's how he wants to play Sky Temple. Very powerful hero for the map. And that's something I think they're definitely going to consider.
Certainly up there.
Okay, there it is. Karazim, though, long time no see on our bald support here, bald healer.
But he's got a lot of hair in the chest, so he's okay.
Yeah, he's got good facial hair as well. Something that Kaldor only temporarily has sometimes. I think Kaldor should I think Kaldor should get the full Karazim beard personally. All right, Li Ming once again. This time on BlossoM's side. And I was gonna say, if they want the garage, it has to be now. And they have a really balanced comp here, BlossoM, so far. It's pretty flexible.
It's also a very good idea to have Li Ming on their side this time. And they're hiding in their DPS in the solo lane as well. They have picked up Thrall for now, so they can just continue in the wave. But Ballistix, though, what is their tank going to be? I think BlossoM would just snipe.
They could ban the Muradin here, but it's tough. Blaze is also a pretty safe ban, but then...
Unless they're going to take it. Yeah. I think Ballistix will near 100% grab Blaze.
So I think that they want to ban this here. Oh, Diablo, interesting. I don't know. What's your take on Diablo on big maps? I don't like it.
Late game for Li Ming, just burning down Diablo is actually really hard. We don't know the second DPS yet, but Li Ming takes a lot of skill shots. Diablo, once he's stacked with souls, may basically be impossible to kill. So I think that's the reason why.
And Yrel is very tanky, so very similar. It's going to leave Blaze for BlossoM, so we know that card. The question is, what's the second DPS? Is it just going to be the Phoenix that we've seen already have so much great success? Not as easy to line up the slows for the Salvo, so they take Raynor instead.
Yeah, they did have the Blaze on for their choice. Ballistix, of course, Chungha has been practicing Yrel personally as well. Super hard on Hero League. I think that's one of the reasons why we have this one. Easier to rotate as well. You can just jump over the wall all the time. But because they gave that Blaze up to BlossoM, they're going to have Raynor as well. So that's a big of a problem for Ballistix for them to actually dive in. They can have some poke from Hanzo, but with False Dad, which I don't completely agree with, it is certainly going to have it's going to be really hard to actually get a kill onto Raynor now. Post 10.
there's a lot of ways to use Falstad against Blaze where if Wiz gets caught and he has to bunker, you just gust everyone away and then you kill Wiz when he pops out of the bunker. The global is going to be a nice... Falstad's going to be great for global presence, split pushing, soaking, but also be very powerful for boss control, which is a really big factor on this map. But I agree, like, it's not my ideal pick. It goes back to, I mean, it's SDE's most picked hero in 2018, so, or sorry, in Phase 2, because Tychus is still #1. It's going to be a while before that gets passed, but let's see how he plays it.
Yeah, it's also because Falstad is very, very squishy. Once you get locked into one of the scroll rooted, Liming will just get a kill. Basically, QWE with the Calamity and Wave of Force, that's certainly a kill onto Falstad, which we saw many times yesterday on Tempest versus Genji.
Here's the flight for the Watchtower control. So from minute 1, Falstad already getting some impact here. Take a look at the Battleground results as one of Ballistix' worst maps, actually. But it's a map they pick often when they're ahead 1-0. That's right, it is one of the worst maps with a 9-3. That's how good Ballistix is, generally speaking. They've had a rough 2018, but here's the stun.
Rooted and gone. Bondar has a rotation, and they were just not thinking about where they were. BlossoM, they had that all planned, and even potions all the way down to the boss control, just in case the fight actually goes all the way down there.
Gonna keep Wiz from getting into lane. It's gonna force him to use the healing fountain.
At least denies a wave of EXP there.
Yes. Hooligan's like, and goodbye. You're gonna toss me over here. I'm gonna just jump back myself. The setup there for Blaze to hit the jet propulsion into the seal, the scroll of sealing, is actually really cool, and BlossoM executed that very well from level 1. So that's something to look forward to, I think, for the rest of this game, is to see if they can hit that combo consistently.
I think Meryday's best support is actually Deckard right now. Even though he can play a lot of support on top tier, even Lucio is really good at Sound Barrier.
Well, I mean, everyone's best support is Deckard, I think, at the moment. But yeah.
he's like the best one who can actually utilize perfectly with the chain of CCs, and also Sake. They're at that level.
Sake and Meryday, I think, are the best Deckards in Korea. Like, Xaylia is also very good, obviously, but... Ooh! Missed that groundbreaker. That was not a groundbreaking groundbreaker. That was just an okay one.
It's just to show the new animation.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been a while, but just to show that off. SC's got his hands on that Hanzo.
Okay, this is a gank attempt onto Honkono. Flight down. He also popped his E, so that's going to be on cooldown for a little while after he respawns. That was a nice little gank. That's how Falstad's played in the current meta, is actually for kills more than soak.
It was also Honkono getting a little bit too greedy, doing some more damage to the turrets. And he was the last one to actually fall back, which means there was a problem.
Hooligan runs mid to grab one more stack. As the top lane push continues for Urel, such a great matchup for her against Blaze. Cap timings here, gonna have to be really careful about how they want to use this for this shrine. See who grabs it first. It's actually gonna be BlossoM, because Modern Life needs to go home. I guess that's why.
I guess this is one of the strengths of BlossoM, how they can actually have Honkono and Gondar going back between DPS and tank.
Yeah, 2 tanks for Gondar so far today.
Which was usually actually Honkono back in Eastern Clash just a week ago. And I think in terms of ranged assassin, Honkono's overall better. But when they have something like a Maiev, Gondar is a lot better on those melee heroes.
Yeah.
So they can just have that as a flex in a way.
Ranged and melee, I think, is the big defining factor between those two. You know how I feel about role swaps, but I not get too deep into it. Hooligan just grabs another stack. Good scroll of sealing there by Meryday to actually prevent any follow-ups from coming down after that. It's really well placed. So this ends up being a full trade. 1-for-1, temple for temple. Ballistix continues to maintain that soak advantage. They do have the Falstad. They did get that gank earlier. And now we're going to see, you know, who gets the soak for 10 after this next bottom temple. Neither team obviously has destroyed the healing well. So, I mean, this game is pretty much dead even. Slight soak advantage for Ballistix, which could lead to a boss after this.
And Oncon actually goes for a sustaining round and Compound at 7, going for that Pepper build instead of anything else at 4. Which I don't think we have seen that in Korea yet. It's always Flight or the other one, or the Armor.
Yeah, it's quite unusual.
You have to be like super aggressive and getting the most out of it by doing damage and activating your trait all the time to get the full value out of it.
Did you see that Hurel was able to push like basically the keep wall in the top lane?
No,
so good. It's so good for Ballistix. Like, you know, that she is able to do that uncontested. There's no threat. They're just tracking vision so well that Jungha is able to do so much. Posturing on boss right now here, but not to make a boss play. They're just trying to look for an invade. Boss got angry for a second. Jungha went mid, knocked down another cannon tower. Ballistix' goal right now is to defeat as many cannon towers as possible so that they can hit 10, because that's going to give them a really safe fight here for the Shrine, and then later on the boss. A 10 fight can give them the Shrine, and then a follow-up boss right afterwards. So now is the most dangerous moment for BlossoM, honestly, is right in this window, because they lost control of the experience.
Same for Ballistix just before 10. But they actually have Falstad pushing very far. So it's not actually too bad. They do hit 10. There's a Gust, Defender, Avatar, Arrow. So nothing unusual. But this is the kind of play we were expecting from Feliz. Having Falstad, you have the global, you need to pressure the opponent for their rotation. You have to force the rotation. SD is doing a fine job on that Falstad, which is leading to this boss.
Jungha was pushing mid at the same time, so they got 2 lanes of pressure to get that through. And this is the boss timing, right before BlossoM hits 10. That's part of the reason what this global is for. Now they can, with the boss pressure, collapse onto this temple. 7-sided pushes Gondar away.
Exactly. Because they can't get the full control of the temple. Ballistix, they're looking for more. They knew BlossoM, they were going to hit 10 soon, but not enough in time to get the boss and the full temple control.
Yep, and this boss is just going to help guarantee the temple control. They only need Yrel on the temple, so Jungha's just going to sit there alone. And now Ballistix can push heavily with the boss. In fact, now that they've forced a big rotation down to the bot lane, they're just going to have the boss and this temple nearly finish off the fort, and then they rotate mid. Falstad's already soaking a different lane. Just trying to stay ahead, just trying to keep those advantages. That's what Ballistix is up to right now.
They're trying to get onto Falstad. I can see that in that rotation, but Yrel just jumps away. We'll be safe for now. Look at how much SD is actually pressuring into the team fight, into the top pressure. This is the kind of top-tier falls that you would see out of the top Korean teams.
Yeah, it's always that wonky, you know, decision-making for the team that has to play against the Falstad. Do we try to gank him? Do we commit to more team fights on the map? Do we try to take camp control because Ballistix doesn't have, you know, the camp clearing hero per se. Like their top laner Yrel is not fastest at doing that. They've got Hanzo, but you know, he's got to be part of this comp. In this case, they're just going to 5-man mid. You know, this is one way to... instead of playing Ring Around the Rosie and chasing Falstad, just 5-man a lane, kill a fort, look for a team fight. Falstad can fly in, though, and engage on this. Let's see how this turns out.
That's a root pair up onto Yrel, so there's using a defender, and that's going to be it. They
that's
have
a
Falstad,
nice cooldown.
They have Falstad and Camp pushing top. BlossoM, they need to go. They need to send someone to block that right now.
They didn't get the fight they were looking for. They forced defender. That's a nice cooldown to get, but the bigger story here, as you say, is that no one on Ballistix died, cooldown or no, and now this top is dead. This wall is dead. Ballistix has 13, and they can look to press their advantages further. Look at where Jungha is again pushing bottom, trying to knock down another fort. I think at some point he or SD are going to be attacking the core with the split pushing in the top lane.
It's basically equation for Ballistix. They push top. 4-man down there goes really safe. They use few heroics, they buy time, and then when there's a rotation from BlossoM, they push the bottom one. Look at this, they're trying to keep that alive. Bottom really low, there's SDE. That's thrown with Gondar, the save out, but still this gigantic push is coming. At least they got the global out from Falstad without a casualty.
That was a really nice stay a while listen from Meriday. Sometimes you are always tempted as a Deckard Cain player to use that to set up big combos and set up fights, but it can be used as a great defensive tool as well. Now we're just going to see the escape here easily. Jungha can just Avenging Wrath over the wall to get out. He's already set up with his trait. He's in fact going to Hearthhome because
only
he wants to go back top.
Only one tempo for BlossoM, but look what Falset is already doing, getting that forward, and they get the control on the top tempo. Ballistix, they're getting so much more out of every single thing with that small amount of lead they had with the talent. When BlossoM hit 13, Ballistix is still so far away.
Jungha faked Wiz out. He actually jumped.
Oh, that hammer in the face.
He faked him out. He jumped to make it look like he left, and he was actually going to try to buy time, and then they were going to try to force a fight. Either way, he's going to get caught now. Defender 8 seconds left on that cooldown, so not going to be available here. And now this is going to be a good fight here for BlossoM. There's the double, as they do get the kill there onto Hooligan. But I liked what they were trying to do with the bot. Delay that, force down, use their global, collapse there, and take a 5v5 fight where they have a level advantage. It was really tricky, but it didn't work out in the end. BlossoM capitalizes on that moment.
Yeah, but it's still, you give out 2 kills, but you get the keep. I think that's what's more important in this game. So BlossoM, because it feels like they're losing more even with the 2 kills, they need to pressure into it to get most out of value. They need to catch up in level.
Gondor can just sit up here on the front.
They've still got Hanzo with that wave clear. Post 16 with the piercing, it would be much, much easier.
Gust in 5 seconds. Look at the positioning here of STE sneaking down. They're going to get caught on this bridge. Oh no, this is an arrow combo!
Arrow with the piercing arrow, that's crazy amount of damage. They do have the bunker, but very early, Jungha still dives in there. Hooligan with the face melt. There goes Sailwild, and listen, buying some time. Rainer's gone.
Hey, the orb does not connect. Meriday is down. Try to use the CCs to buy time for the rest of his team, but I think only Li Ming survives at the end of this movie. Gondar, he's got a lot of armor, but there's only so much that's going to do for you.
Where are you trying to go?
He's really just delaying his teammates' death timers, I guess, trying to get them back into the fray. But Jigoff, that, like, if our subreddit, okay, was more esports focused, man, that would be like one of the highlight posts that would be on the front page tomorrow. Is that because that flank from SDE does not fly, does not telegraph his position, actually just uses his tailwind to come down, gusts them onto the bridge, punishes them where they're going to get stunned there. They planned it from the beginning to arrow right afterwards. Yes. What a beautiful play.
And Jungha just jumps on all of them, piercing arrow just shooting through them, doing about like thousands of damage from just one skill shot there. That was some KR arrow moment.
That was absolutely beautiful.
Great setup by the entire team. Look at SDE already pressuring from the side.
Yep, he's got a gust available. Arrows up too. If they get caught in the corner, the same exact thing can happen again.
Right,
like, literally.
Right before 16 BlossoM. So they do want to manage to not lose anyone before.
It's just such a big threat they have to keep in mind. Look at Modern Life. He's trying to throw orbs over here at SDE because he doesn't want to get flanked in that same way. Okay, this is the moment. This is the fight they need to look for. BlossoM, they're on the back line here. Gondar in good position.
But this wave is way too big to actually go in. All the skill shots will be blocked. So Li Ming has so much less of a power right now.
And Falset's just going to fly to the temple. Bot keeps down. He's just going to look to try to set up for the free damage here to get the last keep. Then they could do direct damage to the core in the next phase where they will have that 20 advantage. You're right, the wave was too much. Li Ming couldn't get resets in that position, but that needed to be their fight. I don't think this is the one they're looking for, but they do grab here and they get the taunt and the sleep. Everything onto Karazi. Magi is blown up.
The Falsa is already there and keep under 40%, though. That's like 25% left.
Oh, he can actually just start hitting the core. He doesn't even have to worry about the keep right now. Forces Li Ming back, so even though they don't have a support, Ballistix controls this. Here's the engage. They actually don't commit to the fight, though, even though Li Ming was back. Modern Life coming back in.
Ooh, the positioning of Jungha. Little risky there. Hooligan's there, but the entire squad of BlossoM is there. There's a focus. Does manage to get the kill. Hooligan is the second target. Gus is already down.
Yeah, this is actually surprisingly sloppy from Ballistix here, despite having massive leads. Nice scatter arrow. Hooligan gets hit by the cube, but he will actually be able to heal up with his trait.
Okay, he does manage to get out.
What a sloppy engage, though, for Ballistix there. They lost Magi, right, to the big combo. BlossoM had to use all the heroics. I think that's why Ballistix felt like they could continue to fight there,
Maybe.
but they only lose Jungha after that, but still, it's kind of a mess. Respawn's coming through. Luckily for Ballistix, after that really messy engage, BlossoM didn't have any objectives on the map. Like, they get the wins and kills, but all they can take is a nightcap. So, you know, it's not the worst thing for them, but definitely could have been cleaner.
It feels like we're just watching Tom and Jerry this game. Ballistix, they're always ahead, and BlossoM's just getting harassed the entire game. They're catching up a little bit only at times, but overall, game is, of course, going for Ballistix. BlossoM only having a keep. They're trying to pressure into this, but Ballistix has 20, and there's that potential for the Gust as well. So BlossoM has to be careful on this one. They're getting pressured onto all lanes now.
Yep. Oh, we're going to see the engage right now. I know the core is under attack, but we got to watch this. Jungha's going in. I love the Tom and Jerry reference, by the way. BlossoM is Tom right now. Okay, here comes the root defensively from Merryday. Bunkers up. SDE's got the Gust, though. Those in the bunker are going to be caught and left alone. Look at the engage here for Jungha right on top. Merryday there's no way out here for Deckard Cain. He's just trying to use the Scroll of Sealing. Great toss to save him. Honkona was the first to die, though.
Merryday just to survive, but they end up getting kills. Modern can't really snipe into one. That was the main problem. And, of course, 2 levels different. You don't have 20. I think even though BlossoM really had a long, good teamfight where Raynor could put out some damage, they just don't have 20, so it is not at the same power level.
SDE just used his epic mount to get in here. The Siege Giant push and the Catapults are on the core now, so he can just backdoor it by himself. GG. That's it. Ballistix takes a 2-0 lead in this series, so 1 map away from getting vengeance here and taking BlossoM out. But they'll remember themselves, and it was them who had it wasn't quite a reverse sweep, but a very big comeback in the series against BlossoM. So to prevent BlossoM doing the same to them, then we'll have to take a smart map pick for Game 3, collect themselves, stay focused. But this is not the series I expected to see tonight, G-Clef. I thought we were going to maybe see another 5-game one, but it doesn't look that way, right?